Están escuchando Ecos Afroamerindios en un espacio que se transmite todos los martes por esta estación de 7 a 8:30 de la noche. Si usted nos está escuchando y le ha gustado este espacio, háganoslo saber. Si por casualidad no le...
Every Tuesday after finishing work at a construction site, Carlos Campos rollerblades 15 miles to Brighton to host his radio show, Ecos Afro-Amendios. Carlos' show is broadcast on Radio Free Allston 106.1 FM, a micropower station serving Allston, Brighton and parts of Cambridge, Brookline and Newton. Radio Free Allston is the brainchild of Stephen Provizer, a freelance writer and former producer at WGBH. Provizer built a copper antenna and began transmitting the 20-watt unlicensed station from the Herald's Renaissance Cafe in Brighton in March of this year.
I felt the need because I felt very specifically inhibited about writing the kind of thing that I wanted to write about. I felt it very strongly when I wrote something for a local weekly and I had something derogatory about America Online in the piece, and the editor said they couldn't print that. And I said, why not? And they said, well, because we have an arrangement with America Online. They provide us free web space for our website. And I said, well, all I could do was laugh.
Radio Free Allston is a part of a larger micropower radio movement in the country which is challenging the federal licensing and station power laws. According to the Federal Communications Commission, all FM stations must have a license to operate and a minimum power of 100 watts. The fine for violating this ranges from $10,000 a day to $75,000 and criminal prosecution.
It's not that a license costs $1 million, it doesn't. But it's, in other words, the fee that you pay is only a few $100s. But in essence, it does, at the very least, because either you have to get a permit for constructing a station, or you have to buy a station.
So that automatically eliminates most people. And so the whole licensing process tends to keep poorer people out, tends to keep a certain perspective of voices off the airwaves, whereas micro radio gives these people access.
Every Monday through Thursday from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m., Radio Free Allston allows community residents to take over the airwaves as amateur DJs, talk show hosts and commentators. Broadcasters range from 15 to 65 years and come from diverse ethnic backgrounds. Most of them have no prior radio experience.
I had no background in radio, so I really am flying by ear on this. Love it. I've loved it from the first day I started it.
I think in the true sense it's really a voice for community. It's like commercial radio, they make you listen to stuff, and it's like, how they say of the FCC and stuff, everything's more regulated, But out here we could tell how we feel. We haven't gone to any DJ school, any speech school, we haven't gone through all of these. I know it's not an advantage, but people could really, it's raw, people could really understand where we're coming from.
We have over 30 different shows from 30 different ethnic minorities, all combined in one community, and I think it's what America needs. I think it's what the world needs. I think that everyone should be allowed to be voiced.
As a principle, I wanted to try to take people who didn't consider themselves media savvy and allow them to do what they wanted to do.
Many members of the Allston-Brighton community support the station despite its illegality. Residents have donated funds and provided space for the station. Some local authorities have appeared on it.
And we're saying that civil disobedience in service of the community is the right thing to do. a witness.
Channels 4, 5, and 7 don't necessarily cover local issues such as the tracks being removed in Brighton or the Flanagan's supermarket closing. Some issues that are big to us in the neighborhood that definitely have an impact upon our daily lives, which normally wouldn't be covered by, you know, a major news outlet. And these are places where people can get information. The radio station is a place where people can get information.
It's great. Any form of communication that adds to this community is wonderful. I say more power to them.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Radio Free Allston's coverage.
Part of the purpose of micropower radio is to draw attention to the state of radio regulation and ownership. The FCC policy helped drive small community-oriented stations out of business in favor of larger stations with wider audiences.
Radio Free Allston 106.1 is bringing to you.
Well, the purpose of commercial radio is to attract an audience to sell to a sponsor. And that's how they make their money. They play the music as incidental. Most commercial stations tend to be music-based, and they go for finding their own particular niche. They're all trying to find, you know, we'll play the best country, or we'll play the best mix of rock from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and we'll play the best stuff from the 60s. And they're trying to find their niche audience and to get people to listen to them, and then they can turn around to their sponsors and say, well, a demographic show, we have, you know, 1 million listeners during this time, so that means we could sell our airtime at a higher rate.
You need to boycott the whole mess. I mean, it's destructive, it's insidious, it's, like I said, trying to make you buy stuff. And you need to just ignore the whole thing and create your own media outlets.
Commercial radio, it's the same old CRAP, ram down your NECK every day of the WEEK. You know what I mean? No, I can't be accused of using any bad language.
Provizer is looking for a permanent base for the station to broadcast from. Till now, they've been moving every 3 months.
The most frustrating part about not having the best possible base is that we don't even reach consistently Brighton, you know. It's a bonus to reach Cambridge and Brookline and other places, but it's extremely frustrating not to have a good signal in Brighton.
Truth Talk Radio will talk about racism, how gay people are treated, why, about trafficking, with cops, about...
There is always the threat of the FCC closing down the station, but Provizer hopes that if Radio Free Allston serves the community well, it might look the other way.
Basically, I feel extremely positive about it, and I feel as though if anything did happen at this point, I think the community would rally around us very strongly.
It's lovely to see a little seed like this growing in something so small from a little restaurant, all volunteers, and I just think that the gods are with us, that why the hell can't it just go somewhere? And I really believe it will. I really do. I don't know how long it'll take or where it'll end up, but I don't think it's going to go away, and I don't think it's going to disappear. And if the FCC try anything, it's only going to help us escalate our cause. So in a way, I hope they do.